All right. Hello, friends out there in YouTube land. It's me again, Dimity Spitz. I still never told you how that name came about. I'm not gonna do it today. So I'm sitting here on a Thursday with not a lot to do because I'm almost out of hours for the week for my regular job. Because yesterday I worked an 18-hour day and spent a lot of time trying to fix something that was broken. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But I'm sitting here and I haven't made a video in a very long time. It's because, well, my life and my room is a mess. You can see right now, if you can see anything, blankets and cups and controllers and a wire connected to my controller connected to a receiver that is not my regular receiver. So let me break it down to you. Go back to the beginning. A few things changed, so I haven't made any videos lately. I've got a lot of video ideas in my head, and I got film, oh, not film, but recording on my phone that I need to, move to my computer and make a video out of, but it was kind of underwhelming and I didn't feel like doing it. So what's been happening with me, if you even care for the 20 or 10 or 5 of you that will see this video, um, I went to see um, I went to see Peabo Bryson at the Bethesda Jazz and Blues because I really liked his 2018 album. I actually bought the album, the record, the LP itself. Um, but the last video I saw him and the age he was at the album is not the age he is now. So I felt like, I was watching the old man version of People. I still love you, people, no matter what. But he had a lot to say, and the recordings that I did make, I felt like, I don't want to put that on YouTube for the world to see because it's just him kind of like talking when I wanted him to sing. But at any rate, it was a good show, but it was a quick show because I didn't get all the things I wanted out of it. But that was way back in the beginning, since probably the last video I made. The other thing that's happened is, you know, my significant other felt that this room that I love to be in so much, the basement as a whole, she said, that's your area. It belongs to you. I don't have any part in it. I didn't make any decisions about anything. And, it's okay, but, it really isn't. And I just kind of like, well, let's change some things. Let's make it more like you. But when I want to change something, it happens right away. When I have to wait for other people, it doesn't happen. So I took everything off the walls. I took everything out. There's no posters. There's no records. There's nothing. I just got bare walls. I got a few absorbers. I bought an extra absorber, which, by the way, is the reason why I decided to make this video today, because I'm sitting here listening to music and watching videos and things, and it sounds bloody amazing. I took everything off the wall, put up a couple of absorbers, and all of a sudden, well, that's not the whole truth. Let me slow down and go back and get back to where I'm trying to go. Took everything off the wall, so there's nothing on the walls. The only thing is up is the absorbers, the curtains, and pretty much took everything out the room, except for the seating and the ottoman, what have you. So there's nothing going to stairwell. Everything is crammed into my office now. My office is a bloody mess. Everything in there. I took the stereo from the back, put that in there because I don't like all these records all around. I don't like these posters. I don't like them. Okay, everything goes. It's in my office. It's sitting wrapped up around the walls. I have to maneuver through my office to get to my desk because I got so much stuff crammed in because I took it out of here. Okay, that happened. It is what it is. Then within that next week, we had thunderstorms rolling through our area. That thunderstorm killed the power and had a brownout, and then we had another brownout, and then we had a blackout. And it was out for a few hours. During that blackout, of course, I have a UPS that's connected to the projector up here, but I don't have a UPS. All I have is a power strip connected to the units for all my components. Well, as a result of that electrical storm, it fried the HDMI board on my Denon X4500H receiver. Wah, wah, wah. So I'm like, okay, now what? I bought my receiver used on eBay, and I called Denon because of course I registered it, and they said, well, if you bought it on eBay, it probably doesn't have any warranty. But here's a list of people you can call to a contact to get repair work done. So I choose go through the link and I find a national, certified representative for Denon in New Jersey. Panoy, I'm gonna mess the name up. Panoray, something or another. It's a weird name. So I contact them, give them a serial number, all my information, what have you, and they said, hey, no problem. Pay us $65 as for to look at it and pack it up, ship it to us. So it's not doing me any good. I can't connect to my projector or connect any inputs because the HDMI is how I connect everything. So I'm like, I have to send it. I have no choice. So I send it, packs up in my original box, and ship it to Panoray in New Jersey. I don't really hear from them, and I call them, say, okay, hey, yeah, we've ordered a new HDMI board, waiting for it to come in, it'll come. So about it was pretty quick, less than 2 weeks, they had fixed it and shipped it back to me. When I received it back, in my original box, it did not come back in my original box that I shipped it off in. So I'm like, I want my original box. Okay, that's, first world problems, right? They said, well, we can't ship it because your original box was damaged, and we can't ship it in the damaged box because we're responsible, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, received it, happy, put it back in the rack. So I take my IKEA set and I move it to the bed of the room because I've thought about it. I've got this rack that's been in my gym area back here for a while. I'm thinking I want to put it in a modular, stand-up rack. Let's see how it looks. And this rack's it's been through the ringer. It's had it for many years. Moved it from house to house to house. It's not metal. It's just wood. Something you buy at Walmart or whatever. It's working, but it doesn't really work. So I'm gonna need to get a metal rack at some point if I want to do this. But I moved that unit from there to the back wall, and it's there for decoration. It's like it's just furniture now, really. A few things are on it. So I'm using this just to test it out. I put in my Denon, hook everything up, and the HDMI is not right. I'm looking at the pictures from the Xbox for the PlayStation that I use as my source units, and when I go to Vudu or some other movie application, the colors are not right. It's blurred. There's degradation. It's wrong. It's just wrong. So I'm well, maybe it's the cable. The same cables I've always used. Maybe they just don't work with this. So I'm swapping cables. Nope, same thing. I'm swapping different. Maybe it's the device coming from the output from the Xbox, output from the PlayStation. It just doesn't work. Xbox connection on. I have two outputs to go to the projector, and I'm thinking, well, maybe one of these. So I try each, and one seems to be okay. So I'm good for a while, and then I tried to play something else. I don't know what, and it's something from Vudu, a movie I bought, and it's completely degraded, and it keeps getting worse the longer I watch it. And I'm like, I just got this back. I don't want to send it back again. But I call them and they say, send it back. What else can I do? So it's there now. So for that first period of time, I brought in my old vintage Sony receiver, and I put it in the rack. Put that in there, and I'm using this, 3/4. I can't pull it out because it's gonna blur the, my old Sony, and I put that in, and I'm like, well, how do I connect with my HDMI cable? Because there's no HDMI connections on it. How do I connect my HDMI cables to my Sony projector now? I can't. So I just go straight from the PlayStation or straight from the Xbox to the Sony, but I don't have any sound now. That's where this cable comes in. So plug it into my controller and then plug that into the RCA inputs. Get an RCA input on the receiver, and boom, now I got sound and I've got picture. I'm moderately happy, but of course the controller times out, and when it does, the sound stops. The first time it did, I didn't know what happened. What? Oh, geez. Just recently, my wife, my daughter, my granddaughter, we all sitting here and watching the movie on Netflix, Sea Beast. Pretty good movie. Great sounding, actually. And every few seconds, I had to just turn the controller back on to keep the sound going. You know, it's pretty ghetto, but it works while it works. But that's what I did when I sent it back the first time. I used my Sony receiver. The next time I send it back, I said, let me try the Technics receiver. Again, my Technics has no digital outputs or inputs, no HDMI. So back to the cable again. And that's in here now. But what I found out was when I connected that first Sony, my Sony receiver, just, something I inherited, some old little, from the 70s or some receiver. But that paired with these Lascalas sounded incredible. I'm like, wow, this sounds really good. I was just amazed because when I got my D9 back, watching a bunch of videos of Audioholics, and I got all these ideas about acoustics. That's why I took my new absorber from GK. What is it? GK Acoustics, whatever it is, GIK Acoustics. Took them from the back wall, moving up to the side walls to get the first reflection points. I put my Lascalas, I played around with the placement, put it here, put it there, moved it in, moved it back. I measured the distance so that I have I have an equal triangle. They're equal distance apart, they're equal distance to me in my main listening position. And I did all this stuff, measuring tape and all of that, just getting everything right, just working with placement, moving my subs a little bit here and there, changing the phase, doing all these things because I'm trying to, okay, what can I do to make my room better while my receiver is being repaired? So, did all that. So, some of that, I guess, must have helped. Did those things, bought an extra absorber on Amazon to hit that second point there. I still need something over here. But, in spite of all that, the sound I'm hearing is like, wow. And all I connected, well, the first time I connected the Lascalas, did not plug in the subs at all. The subs were just turned off. I unplugged from the wall. And I put it was a surround receiver on the Sony, so I put the two Sonys on the side, plugged those in for side surrounds, and the Lascalas up front for left and right. That's it. No center, no subs, 4 speakers, quadraphonic sound. And it was sounding really quite good. I got my D9 back. It didn't work. I shipped it back. I said, well, let me switch things around now, use the Technics. So now I put the Technics in, and I added the subs because the Technics have an input for sub. I said, hey, let me try that out. It also has put for surrounds, but I said I'm not going to put the surrounds. I just want to hear the Lascalas. So the Scalas left and right, put in a left and right subs, and that's it. No sides, no tops, no nothing else, no center. Center's completely disconnected. But I swear, it sounds like that center is blowing at me better than it ever has before, because it's not. So I have a phantom center with the Lascalas, and it is bloody amazing. It is bloody amazing, I'm telling you now. I'm like, I heard no speakers in the room. I heard sound coming directly from my screen, from my wall, from my center. And I'm hearing surround sound over here on my left. I'm watching things and I stop. I'm like, oh my God. I'm hearing things I've never heard in this room from just 2 speakers and 2 subs. The subs are integrated. You don't even know they're there. They're integrated so well in this setup with the Lascalas, and I'm sitting here, I can barely, because I know it's what's happening. I can barely, go through a scene or a movie without saying, oh my God, I've only got 2 speakers connected. I've only got 2 speakers connected, and I've got surround sounds coming from over here. I've got a clear voice hit me right in the face right here, and the room feels like it is an amphitheater. So I'm here on a Thursday with nothing to do, and I'm watching YouTube videos and sound clips, and I'm thinking I need to stop and make a video about this. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, to continue the story, the Technics is in. I'm still waiting on my D9 to come back, but I'm kind of thinking it might be time for an upgrade. So I'm on YouTube looking at the new Rotel preamp or the new Rotel processor, thinking, ooh, I like to get an Anthem AVM 70 because the AVM 90 is ridiculously priced and I could never spend that much money for a receiver. I would be lost and maybe lose my wife. Been looking at the Emotiva RMC1. Everything has to be $5,000. It's ridiculous. So Emotiva, Cheap Audio Man, is talking about Emotiva at the as a Texas Audio Roundup. Emotiva and Shed Audio are together, and they're making this, and they're talking about all their new products. And I'm watching the video, or no, they sent me an email. So in the end of the email, Emotiva mentions this new receiver that they're going to have out at the end of the year, the MR1. I'm looking, trying to find something online about it. There's nothing. It's like a secret they sent, and they never said anything more about it. So I got receivers and processors on my Mac because I do want to go separates. People have mentioned to me about separates. I have one amp now and have my little 2 amp that's in my office, but I want to get a DR3 Emotiva. That's what I want in my head. Who knows? We'll see what happens. It's a lot of money too. But you buy once, you cry once, right? I want to get the most power I can out of my front stage. So that's what I'm looking at because I can't afford Macintosh or whatever. But I'm watching Shane on Spare Change, and he's showing this Rotel. So now he's got me thinking about that. I watch John Dockel. He's talking about DACs. Now I'm thinking about that. So speaking of the DACs, now that I moved my Sony into my office, moved my turntable in there, all my records are in there, I've grown a habit now of taking, pulling out, starting from the letter A and pulling out one album a day and putting it on the turntable and letting it play while I'm working. I pull out this Arthur Prysock jazz album that I've inherited from my father-in-law's collection. I don't know him, but I like him, and I like his voice, and I like the music. But the point that happened, I have this vintage Sony playing the turntable, listen to this old 1965 album, I clean it up and I put it on it, and I'm thinking, I take my new Audio Technica phono equalizer out of the line source and just go direct to the phono preamp on the Sony, make it clean and simple. I dropped the needle on this other Prysock record, and I've got my volume turned down pretty low, and it caught blaring out, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know, I didn't know that this would be this good. I'm like, this is simple. It's a turntable, a cable, and this old Sony, and it sounds amazing. I'm like, I didn't know. So watching John Dockel talk about DACs and all that, trying to understand, do I need a DAC? Do I want a DAC? And I thought about this. This is a 1970 probably receiver. And it's playing an old 1965 analog record, not a digital record, analog record, and it sounds great. Why? Because everything is analog. There's no digital signal in here. That old Sony it doesn't need a DAC because there was nothing digital at the time. It's an analog output, and it sounded so good. I'm like, so it makes me want to play the records even more. So that happened. That's in my office. I'm rambling, I know, but I'm just trying to get all this stuff out of my head. So I'm sitting here again. It sounds so good, and I only have 2 speakers, and that's for the music and that's for the movies. And I'm hearing things I never heard before. I'm almost like, do I need my Denon 11-channel processor? Do I? These 2 speakers in the right positioning and the right treatments for the room. I mean, I know I need a few more things, and I'm thinking, wow, if I could get some diffusers on the ceiling like I want to, what else could I hear? What else could there be? So anyway, my room is still a mess. I'm still waiting on my receiver to come back. But in the meantime, I've just been enjoying using this room. just sitting here, taking my taking my iPad and my Dragonfly, my DAC, the only one I really have, besides whatever's in these systems, and just playing straight off of that like this. And I'm telling you, and I wish I could turn my camera around and turn the mic on and record it and let you hear it the way I'm hearing it, but I know you won't. It won't translate. I know it won't. And I'll just be upset when everybody comments about it sounds it sounds great in here. So anyway, that's kind of my rant for the day. Oh, I also shaved off all my hair. In the process of all these things, just got tired, and it's so freeing. I don't even have to worry about what does my hair look like now. I'm like, whatever, I have none. Just go. It's great. Anyway, so all these things are happening. I haven't been making any videos. I did enjoy the People Bryson show, and I have some video I wanted to put together and just put that out there. I might still, but I kind of feel like it would be a discredit to people if I did, so I kind of don't want to. But I'm enjoying my music in my office, listen to albums in there, listen to digital music in here, and I'm trying to figure out where are my DACs. Is there a DAC in this? Is there a DAC in my Technics? I know I have a DAC here, so I'm thinking about DACs today. Okay, something else I don't need to spend money on, but everybody's got me want to spend money on a DAC now. So I wanted to rant all of that out of my head, and I'm trying to figure out what else I wanted to say about this room. But my rack's over there. I don't know if you even care about that, but I'm using the Technics, the same Technics I've used when the Scholars was there in the back and playing records there. But it's the Sony that's the real thing. The Technics sounds really good too, but something about that Sony, it's all analog. There's no worrying about digital conversion. Although, I have a CD player, there has to be some digital conversion, digital analog conversion somewhere happening. I'm learning. I'm trying to. But anyway, I'm gonna try to enjoy it. It's 1:41 now. I'm gonna try to enjoy some more of this day. My daughter's at work, my wife's at work, my granddaughter's upstairs, and she's doing whatever she wants to do because she doesn't want to go anywhere with granddad. Now I'm ranting about another thing. But I'm enjoying the music, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, whatever you have, whether it's old or new, if you can enjoy your music and enjoy the time you spend alone in your rooms, watching and listening, then, whatever, right? That's what it's all about. In the end, it doesn't matter how much money you spend or how much time you use and how much things you do, how many videos you make. It's about, do you enjoy the music that you're listening to, the movies that you're watching, and the equipment that you have. And I am. There's always that itch to want more, but I'm like, this is I sit here sometimes and I wonder what else do I ever really need, because this is like a downgrade, but it feels like an upgrade in a way, and I'm enjoying it so much that I started thinking, do I need any more? You and I both know I'm gonna get more, I'm gonna do more, gonna start something brand new one day, just start all over again. But in the meantime, it sounds really good, and I just had to stop what I was doing and tell you guys that. So hey, I'm looking forward to getting my receiver back and doing some different things, and maybe even trading that receiver and getting something better and doing this and that. But in the meantime, in my junky mess with, talking about repainting, talking about repositioning, of course I need new carpet, that's ultimate, want new seats, all these things you want. But in the meantime, I'm really just appreciating what I have. And I am amazed. If you just take the time to enjoy something sometimes, instead of worrying about what's next and what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it and how I'm going to do it, stop, breathe, and enjoy what you have. So thanks for listening to me rant, run my mouth. Next time, maybe I'll do something a little bit more concise and give you some more details. I actually show you some things. You've seen everything already, though. My office is a mess. I'm not going to show you that. The room is a mess. And you don't need to see that either. But thanks for listening to me. This is my therapy. Thanks. Enjoy what you got. See you next time.